the HCW YouTube channel, and welcome back to another Indie Spotlight. And we are here once again for Kamikaze Pro Live. We're previewing Rise of the Emperor, which is an 8-man tournament they are doing. And I'm here with the last king standing, JC. How are you doing?
I mean, you actually having me on the show this time. Like you actually haven't forgot me this time. I'm surprised, considering the preview that we did for the last show. You left my match off it.
Unfortunately,
No. The question is, why do you actually have me here?
I felt
Like,
bad because Kamikaze announced your match quite late, and then we had to get the preview out in advance, and your match was the last match announced.
excuses. Look. Let's just get this done and over with, okay? Like, I've got other stuff to do. Like the disrespect you've shown me already, and now I've got to do this, and let's just get it.
Well, thank you for coming on. So we are here to discuss Rise of the Emperor, which is an 8-man tournament for the NXT. Good grief, the Kamikaze 2.0 guys. It's coming out. You're making me worried. It's coming out on Friday, March 15th for the Setchard Social Club, where Kamikaze returns. We are going to kick off with a match. Ronnie G versus Zach Walker. We're kicking off straight away with. So for anyone that's not aware, Ronnie G beat T Redacted. We go by. We might as well call him TJ Skull because he's not going to watch this because he's not on the show. And Zach Walker lost against Chantel Jordan after a big match, quite highly rated. How do you think this one's going to go, JC?
So you talk about a guy who I not only beat, but I whooped last show. Look, that aside, Ronnie G, Zach Walker. Zach has been training really hard. He is probably one of the brightest prospects of the Kamikaze Pro Dojo 2.0. Let's not cap. Ronnie G, the man who has disrespected me enough times, but let's not take away from the fact that he's a great wrestler. And when I faced him, he gave me a hell of a fight. Let's not cap. Again, you're looking at two guys who are fan favorites, are popular with the crowd. Not only that, but they can really go in the ring. Zach is, he's one of the youngest guys to ever debut on a show. He's very athletic, and he can take a beating as well. Like, he showed the match against DeVries, like he can hold his own with the guys, like George, Chantel, DeVries, and these are all champions of Kamikaze Pro. So yeah, it's going to be a tough one to call, man. It's going to be a tough one to call. And obviously Ronnie beat TJ Sky, who ain't no slouch either. So it's going to be a very tough match. I'd say Zach, but personally, I want Ronnie G to win just so we can get to the final and I can beat his ass again. So
That's fair enough. Yeah, you've beat him twice technically. You beat him in the last show. Well, you beat him after a match at the last show, but you did beat two guys, so I can't complain about that. And you've beaten once again. Zach hasn't picked up a win in Kamikaze Pro. This would be a massive win for him. I probably would have to go with Ronnie for that because he has picked up wins at some stages at the moment, whereas even though Zach's been very good in the ring, he's just not picked up a win yet.
One thing I will say though, and this is somebody who went through a similar thing last year. Even though Zach, we've seen that he's a great wrestler. We've seen that he can do, the most amazing things in the ring. When you don't have that win-loss record to back it up, then you have to start thinking about your game plan. Zach's now got to get to that point where the good old college try ain't enough. And he's really got to do anything that it takes in order for him to win. And if that means beating the hell out of Ronnie G in order to prove a point, I mean, that's what I would do.
Yeah, I just can't see Zach turning to that level yet. I feel like he's too much of respectful guy. He's too much of a respectful guy at the moment.
He's maturing, but once he gets older like me, then he'll realize that I had a point.
We will get there. We're going up next. Then we've got the match of Sonny Nos versus Maximus Sakurai. So Maximus, last time out, he was in a six-man tag, lost against House of Heritage. This will be his first singles match in 7 months. And Sonny Nos has came out of a loss against Alex Connors. How do you think this one's going to go?
This is again, these are all tough matches. Okay, like let me first say before anything, like these are all tough matches. Let's not, let's not cap. Let's not put it past any stretch of the imagination. Also, I think it's also cool to point out that this is the first ever pro live show where it's only graduates from the 2.0 dojo. It's only them.
Yeah.
So some of the guys who have been here a long time, obviously, they, it's to show, like, showcase us and how far we've come. So I think that's also a thing which is something we gotta give the flowers to and appreciate. And look at the talent that is not only on this tournament but also coming through the ranks. We've got some of the brightest trainees in the Kamikaze Pro Dojo, who will soon make their debut at some point. It's we're cooking, we're cooking, cooking in the dojo. Oh man, I gotta get rid of that hashtag. But anyways, so yeah, Max versus Sonny. Here's what you got to understand, right? I think these are two men that I respect highly, right? Let's not cap. Sonny, who can hate Sonny, right? Who hates Sonny? Nobody. The first match he closed. The first match he competed in, he closed Logan Samuel. He used off a bike. Like, I still remember that to this day. Like, he's crazy. Now he thinks he's a cat, or maybe he is a cat. Who knows? But yeah, man, like, he's nuts. But we all love him for that. And obviously, Max, the modern day gladiator, somebody who I've teamed with in the past. Again, one of the best to come out of the Kamikaze Pro Dojo 2.0. And remember, he's one of the only people that is undefeated. He has not lost a match in singles competition yet. So when you put it like that, that's very hard to go against. However, what you've also got to understand is Max has still got that knee brace. And he's still got that knee brace. So you never know how 100% he is or how fit he is going to be for that match. And that might be something that Sonny Nos does take advantage of in the end.
Yeah. The trouble with Maximus is he said he is undefeated, but he's also not wrestling as much as he needs to. It's a lot easier to wrestle a 6-man tag than wrestling a singles match, and he hasn't had one in about 7 months in Kamikaze Pro. Whereas Sonny Nos has been around continuously during that time, even though he is a cat supposedly right now. But Alex Connors has confirmed he's not a cat. It's going to be hard to. It sounds weird with a man that's undefeated, but it's going to be hard to look past Sonny Nos, just because he's not got ring rust. But then again, is he a kind of guy that will go after that limb? That's what you need to do as a wrestler. If he's injured, go after that limb. Don't respect it.
Very true, but also, I think what's key to Sonny is that his nickname is the sweet innocent child. And because we've seen him, like a cat, or maybe he is a cat. I don't know, but because he has a very childish nature, he might not think of that. And the experience of Maximus Sakurai and the durability of Maximus Sakurai might shine through in the end. Because look at the matches he's been in. He's had injuries and still went through and killed it. Like, you wouldn't have thought he'd been injured in the first place. And obviously, that's that gladiator mindset. That's that gladiator spirit. So, me personally, as much as you could play devil's advocate and say that Sonny Nos does have a chance, considering we don't know this, the full status of Max's knee, whether he's fully healed or whether he's not. I can't put it past the modern day gladiator. Maximus Sakurai for the win for me.
Okay. Yeah, so we split there. Like, it all depends on the first few minutes. It depends what Sonny Nos does in the first few minutes. If he prats about, I feel like Maximus will eat him up. But if he doesn't, he might get the win. Third match that's been announced is Coach Mahon versus Nate Riley.
Hey you. Yeah, you. Do you like this video? There is a button. It's a very sexy button. It says subscribe on it. I wish I could click on it, but YouTube won't let me. Damn fuckers.
So Nate won in the tag team match against House of Heritage last time out, and beat Samuel Hughes at Live 40. And Coach Mahon, he defeated you, but he was lying on the floor by the end of the night. So did he really win?
You're lucky there's a screen between me and you now. That's what I'm saying. Look, let's right. This match, Coach versus Nate Riley. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm gonna try and be as professional as I can, because right now you're annoying me. But look, Coach Mahon, good wrestler, greatest sports coach of all time. Nate Riley, the Skywalker, high flyer. Again, some of the most amazing things you've seen in Kamikaze. Like the main show, Over the Top Rumble, he did a thing where he basically like walked up like 3 people like a ladder and then did like a front flip over the rope. That was really cool, man. And again, similar to Zach Walker and similar to the run that I had last year, like Nate hadn't picked up many wins. I don't think he had one apart from Samuel Hughes, I think.
Yeah, Samuel Hughes would be his first win, yeah.
I want to say Samuel Hughes, and credit to him, right? Credit to Nate. Considering he only beat Samuel Hughes like one person in singles matches last year, you wouldn't have thought that. You know what I mean? Nate's got an energy about him, and the work rate he puts in, you don't think that he's on the losing side of things. 9 times out of 10. And that's actually kind of a good thing in a way, because if you look at it, you still have that star power, you still have that not necessarily popularity, but you still have that aura about you. So even when you do lose, it doesn't feel like it's a massive thing. And that does, wonders for your confidence, for your momentum as well. It means you don't lose as much momentum as maybe other wrestlers. So honestly, like, credit to Nate for that. And yeah, let's not, I did beat the hell out of Coach, but let's not take away from the fact that he's a tricky one to deal with. Again, I mentioned it before on previous previews that I've been in. One thing is tricky when you have a guy that doesn't fight like his size. You'd expect, Coach is one of the shorter guys in the roster. You'd expect him to be a lot more quicker, a lot more evasive, which he did show. He did cannonball me from the ring apron, which hurt a lot. But you've also got to think he has a lot of power behind him. Do you know what I mean? I wasn't expecting him to pick me up for a power slam, but he did it. Do you know what I mean? So honestly, like, you got to watch out for guys like Coach, and especially because he's a coach. He does have that knowledge, that ring IQ in terms of technique and technicality. We saw that, he caught me with the European clutch. So, there is that, even when the thing is about that, even when, you don't bridge your legs through, even if you have your knee, like your feet by your shoulders, on your arms straight, it's still almost impossible to kick out of, because when you're like this, you basically have to shift all of your body weight to one side to lift your shoulder off. And yeah, he caught me off guard with that. So fair play, I'll give him his due on that. So somebody like Nate, he's going to have to watch out for surprise things that Coach does. And obviously the Coach, that's another thing. You ain't going to get caught with that. That took a lot of my energy to kick out of that. So it is what it is. I think in terms of this match, I would give it to Nate. Because I think, one, it's, again, in terms of momentum, in terms of excuse me, in terms of aura, in terms of matches, in terms of the things that he's done for this past, for this past year and going into this year. I think he has a lot more to go off than Coach, because also you got to remember, Coach isn't usually in tag team matches. And sometimes when you don't have that extra partner by your side, it can hinder you slightly. So we'll see how it goes. But personally, I think Nate will pick up the win from that.
Yeah. So like the other matches announced prior to this, is the first time singles match as well. The first time they've ever faced. Both guys need to carry on their momentum win wise. They can't just pick up one win and then start going back to losing. It's not going to help them. I'd probably go with Nate because he's got the bit more experience. The experience edge on the outside of Coach Mahon, but it is going to be a very close match. And they're both on your side of the bracket. So this could set up, if you do manage to get through, which we'll discuss. You've got your either face Nate Riley, who I don't believe you faced before, singles match wise.
I have not. No, I've never faced him.
Or your face Coach Mahon, who obviously you're looking to get revenge for in an actual one-on-one contest.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. In fact, you know what? Let me change my answer. I hope it's Coach. I hope Coach wins, because then I can prove that it wasn't a fluke, that he beat me, and I can stomp his head in again.
That's something we'll be looking forward to. I'm going to go Nate, you go Coach. Either way, it'll be a good contest. It's something to look forward to. But last but not least, we've got Edgar Adams versus yourself, JC. How do you think this one's going to go?
Wait, so you're telling? Hold on. You're telling me that you left my match last?
It is something we do on the show. If it helps, it's not personal. It's all coincidental that you weren't on the last show, and this is coincidental. Well, this thing, you're always going to be on the last match.
See, this is what I'm talking about. But stay professional. Stay professional. Look. Okay, me versus Edgar. Kamikaze's golden boy, basically. He's had matches against Robbie X, Richard Holiday. He's fast. Let's get the elephant out of the room. He's high flying. He hits hard. I've trained with him in the past, and you can't keep up with him. He's like blinking and missing. And not only that, but I think what's also impressive about him is his stamina. It's one thing to go that fast. It's another thing to go that fast and keep that intensity throughout a match. We saw him do it with George Lydon last year, match of the year. Let's not cap. So I think it's gonna be a tough match for me. I'm not gonna what's the word? I'm not gonna downplay him by any means, because I think it would be stupid for me to underestimate him, honestly. However, I need people to understand that this is different. Okay, this is different. The guy, if he'd have said last year, me versus Edgar Adams would have wiped the floor with me. Okay, he would have wiped the floor with me, and it would have been there, done and dusted. Okay, but what you've got to understand is this is different. This year, I don't really talk about goals too much, because I wanted them to be personal to myself. I accomplished one. I debuted on the main roster for the Rumble over the top. But this year, I wanted to make sure that people understood that I was here to win and compete, right? And yet, I'm competing against one of the best that Kamikaze Pro has to offer, the best that Kamikaze Pro Dojo 2.0 has to offer in Edgar Adams. And this is different, so much more different, because the old me would have given him respect. The old me would have given him his due and respected him too much that I let it become my own undoing, right? I always think back to the match that I had with Will Stevens and how I did everything I could I took every opportunity that was laid out in front of me to win that match. And guess what? That's how I got my first win in Kamikaze Pro Live. So when I come back to this match and I see everything that's happened and I see the disrespect that's been put on me, the fact that I'm left behind, right? I'm being overlooked and overshadowed because people are more popular than me, right? I go and look at reviews and see that I'm not even on the reviews, right? Yes, I'm looking at you, right? I see all these things happening. This is so much more different because now I get to prove that the person that I know I can be gets to show up at Rise of the Emperor. Okay. This is, I keep saying it, but I'm going to say it one more time for the people in the back. This is different. Okay. I'm not going to be the same guy that's going to give it the good old college try. No, 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 no. I'm going to kick his head in. I'm going to stomp his head in. And it's going to be me who picks up the victory. Don't get me wrong. It's going to be hard. I'm not going to say it's easy because I know he's going to give me a fight. And I welcome that challenge. I welcome him to hit me as hard as he can and as fast as he can. But it takes one foot to stomp his lights out and pick up the 1, 2, 3. So JC's getting a win.
Okay. So talent tape for people prior to this. Edgar were winning the tag team match against the House of Heritage. He lost to Richard Holiday, but he last Kamikaze Pro Live singles match he defeated TJ Sky. And obviously we've mentioned what happened previous to yourself, so I won't bring that up again. It's going to be a very difficult match, in all honesty, but you've got an edge now to you that's completely different to what you were before. I discussed this with Samuel Hughes and Hassan Ali. Samuel Hughes decided that he needed to turn and do things for himself, and I feel like that's what you're doing right now. And look where he's gone now. So it's going to be a very close match, but I can see you picking up the win in it. But it is going to be very close.
It will be close. It will be close. No stretch of the imagination. Like I know what I'm in for. If that makes sense. I know what I'm in for. I know what I signed up for. You know, when I competed in this tournament. You know, I've essentially got to take part in 3 matches in one night, which for anybody is more than taking part in one match is enough. But taking part in 3 matches in one night, you know, if you do make it to the final, or for me, when I make it to the final, it's going to be a tough on the body, on mentally, physically. It's a massive challenge for these guys and for myself. So, yeah, it's definitely going to be worth coming to Rise of the Emperor to see me beat 3 other guys and become your first Emperor reigning. But yeah, big ups to the Kamikaze 2.0 because like the Dojo 2.0 because we are all cooking, we are all working hard, and I know that the matches that are you gonna see, we're all fighting for the same thing. We're all working hard. So yeah.
Yeah. So obviously 4 matches announced. That's how a tournament works. We don't know what will happen in the other rounds. It's all going to be hypothetical. You can have people like, say, if Edgar did somehow manage to go through, he could face his best mate, Nate Riley. If a Koru goes through and Zach Walker goes through, it's the kind of like the battle of the kind of future golden boys of Kamikaze, the winning one, Zach Walker. And then you could have a final yourself and Zach Walker, or yourself and Maximus Koru, where obviously you can come back with a few matches that you lost. But either way, it's going to be a good event, and I'm very much looking forward to it. Is there anything else you'd like to mention about the show before we break up?
Yes. So it is going to be Friday, the 15th of March, Stetchwood Social Club. Tickets are still on sale. Get them while you can. It's going to be in a blast of an event, mainly because I'm going to win. Right? Let's not put that out of the imagination. It's going to be me that wins. You know, and that's a JC guarantee. But it's going to be a night of action, a night of high stakes. Some of the matches, again, like we said, you're not going to see. Well, these are going to be the first time you've seen them. There's very interesting matchups, depending on who goes through in the bracket. And yeah, man, come to the show. see me become the first Emperor reigning, the Rise of an Emperor Kamikaze Pro Live 43. It's an event. We'll be there. Hope to see you guys then.
Excellent.
Yeah.
So, as usual, everyone else, check out the previous reviews for Kamikaze and the previews. Like and subscribe. We'll be reviewing this. Alex Connors will be on as usual, who was doing commentary all night for anyone that's not aware. So that'll be lovely for him and lovely for the on-demand viewers. And good for everyone else. Carl Robinson is still not going to be the GM on that show, so people are going to be less screwed. But that's about it. So that's goodbye from me.
Yeah, I'm done here.
I'm not going to have him back on, clearly. But goodbye, everyone. Oh, yeah.